everyone. I'm Michelle. Thank you for joining me today on my channel. I am working on a layout for my Creative Scrapbook, and this is using the November limited edition kit. And the main collection that is in this kit is the Vicki Boutin Curiosities in Willow Grove by 49 Market. So it's been really fun to work with this so far, and today I am going to work on the sketch. Now every month you receive a sketch that you can use to create a layout, and I'm also going to use the cut file today. I think I'll probably use the cut file again on another layout, but the sketch has this great circular element, and the cut file for the limited edition kit, at least, is this lattice circle. And so when I say it's for the limited edition kit, I just mean that this is what you receive in your kit. Now, I don't know what size you will receive, but you will also receive this as a download. You have access to that in the mycreativescrapbook.com under, let me see, where is it? I think it is under like other kits, and then you drop down to cut files. I'll put the directions in my video since I don't remember right off the top of my head. And so I have a couple of options. I think I am going to use this paper. I really like this paper. It has so much interest. Now the back side is this gorgeous floral, and there's, so many florals in the laser cut elements that I don't think I'll need to fussy cut. I guess I could always, well, I'll talk you through it as I go. I'll take off the barcode strip, and then I have my circle. Now, if I back it, I was thinking about just backing it with white so the shadow happened. I might like ink blend a little bit on the edge here so it's blends in with this a little bit better. If I do end up using that, I could always, cut out this circle here if I decided I just wanted the ability to use some of those flowers. So we'll see what happens. Now these are the pictures I'm going to use. I'm not sure what orientation I'm going to, excuse me, if I'm going to do it this way or this way. These pictures are from a crop that we just did in October up at Mount Baker. It's, as you can see beautiful Mount Shuckson. Now this picture is from the deck, and this is from inside the room there at our crafting table. I pulled out a few titles. You'll see in the sketch, it has the title and then some floral clusters. So I pulled out today, I could do that like at the top of the circle. I pulled out Take in the View because that's really what this picture is about. I also have this larger, Don't Forget to Enjoy the View. So either of those are good options. I also pulled out this Memories. So we'll see how it goes. That might be like one of the last things I decide, depending on how much room I have left myself. Now the sketch has this pattern paper here. So I have a little paper remnant that I thought I would use, and it just is asking for just a little bit here, so it isn't going to take a big piece. But I like that, at least in this picture, it has the same colors. I might end up doing it like this so that there's a better balance of that beautiful pinky orange. So that is my plan. It does have a little bit of mixed media. I haven't decided yet what I'm going to do with that. So let's see where we go with this. All right, so I am just going to do some ink blending on the edge. I'm using Distress Oxide, and this is just going to take me a minute or two, just taking a look at how it looks with my cut file on top of it. Now, it is not going to be hugely noticeable. But once I spray it down, the ink does move towards the center quite a bit, so I like that. And then the other mixed media element I'm going to do is just using this stencil that comes in the kit. Now I've taped it off because I just want one leaf, using that light and fluffy texture paste. And I'm going to do it down here to the bottom right. And then I am going to do it up towards the top right. And that is it for where I'm going to do mixed media. Now I am going to come back once these have dried. I am going to take a little tool and clean up my edges a little bit. Uh, but I do want it to have some type of splatters. And so once I get this cleaned up, I'm going to take salt water taffy, that same color. And it is one of the few that I have in a refill ink. And so I'm just going to use a dot of my refill ink and some water to make some ink for splattering. And so I splatter a bit, and then I'm going to take my paintbrush and just paint in those leaves just a tiny bit. And let me look at my layout. And yeah, you can just see it here or there. So it might look a little bit solid here, but it is mostly going to be hidden. This paper is just so cute. I didn't want to cover too much of it, and so going to go ahead and add some foam to the back of my cut file. I used both my tape runner and liquid adhesive for this. And now I want to take a look at my photos. And I thought, well, maybe I'll just add one more layer of white. But I want to be able to really kind of see through that cut file. So I'm just going to use some cheesecloth. And then I will also mat my photos in white and then the same orange paper that I'm using for the block off to the left. So that's my plan. So I'm going to go ahead and use foam tape on my pictures as well. I've mentioned this, I think, in another video, but I'm not too concerned about having a lot of height in this video because I am using the three-dimensional flowers. I did leave all the centers in my flowers. So the foam that I'm using under the pictures and under the circle element is not going to raise it up more than those flowers. So here's that orange piece that I am going to use there to the left. And I really love these pictures. And so this was such a great crop. This is the last one that we're having up at Mount Baker. So it was a good swan song crop this last October. Now the sketch also has a tag in it, and so I'm going to use this purple tag as I'm using some pink and purple flowers as well as some of the purplish leaves in the kit. I'm going to go ahead and use this dome. I know that there is another word for that, but it is escaping me for the moment. Cloak, maybe? And so I am stacking some of the mushroom elements on top of that. And then I'm going to add a little phrase that says, keep life simple. And then the rest of that cluster is going to fall below that, and that is where the flowers, the dimensional flowers and such are going to go in that uh, bottom left area. All right, so I am going to use the larger title. Don't forget to enjoy the view. That seemed really appropriate because I don't want to forget. That is for sure. And you're seeing the flowers that I'm going to be using for that cluster. I have one of the green ones, the larger kind of mauve pink, and ivory, and then some of the paper flowers and leaves that come in either well, I believe all of these are from the laser elements. So I'm just trying to figure out how I want to orient all of these. I went ahead and glued down the large one with collage medium. Going to use that orangey flower. I'm going to have that, or orangey leaf. I'm going to have that green flower right there. I also have a green leaf, a white flower, and I am going to use some of the nuts that come in the embellishments. I'm going to use that bug. And then I am also going to add some binoculars to that cluster. And then that will primarily be done. Though, yeah, I think that's how I orient it. And then I just cut off the part that trails off the paper's edge. So, um, cluster done, check. And so moving on to the one off to the right, I do stick with kind of the daisy looking flowers on all three of my layouts as far as from the kit. I am going to use that magnifying. I think it's super cute and it matches the glass over in the other cluster. I am going to use that little paper clipped banner piece kind of as a little base for everything else that I'm going to be doing. And I'm going to use quite a few of the leaves. So I have the purple leaf. I'm going to use one of the more red leaves and then one of the orange leaves. Those are the flowers I end up going with, the ivory and the pink. And going to add just a few more natural looking leaves that came in with the 3D flowers. And then I am going to move that uh, paper flower down below. Felt like that needed to extend a little bit. And then I'm going to have a word phrase there that says these beautiful moments. I am going to add some mushrooms as well. And then I'm going to add a pink beetle to this one that is going to go on that white flower. So I want to be sure I have mushrooms in all my clusters. So that is what I'm working on here. And there's that beetle I was speaking of. And well, it looks like my picture was getting a little squirrely. So tighten that up a little bit. And then my little nut, I don't know that I think that does not make it in that cluster. That one will go up above. So this one is just about finished. And so up above, I am going to use a lot of those same elements just in different colors because I really want the colors to feel, I want them to feel different in each cluster, but I want all the clusters to coordinate. So I'm going to use that ivory flower and I'm going to use the lavender one in this layout. Going to use one of the larger leaves there, the yellow leaf, and then I am also going to use one of the larger white daisies. I am going to use that green leaf and um, a couple of the other leaves in the kit, the orange and the purple. I am going to use that nut in this layout or in this cluster. And then I want to make sure I have a couple of mushrooms. And so those are going to go up above a little bit. And then I'm going to use Wonderful Way to Spend a Day because it truly was. So yeah, I think I'm getting pretty close. So thank you for joining me for this layout. And so it was really fun to make. Sketches always make things, pretty darn easy. And so if you um, uh, are part of My Creative Scrapbook, be sure to check out the cut files in the add-on section. And other than that, this layout is complete. I will see you on my next video, and here are some close-ups. Thanks, everyone.